Ready for this, Ty?
I don't think anybody could be prepared for this.
Shut up, Ty! You just can't understand perfection! Attention ponies, my name is Kamen. I'm a skeleton made with magic bones and lots of cool. If you need proof, then look at my biceps, cause they're wearing sunglasses and clearly means I rule. My cooking skills unrivaled when it comes to spaghetti with sauce and pasta noodles extra long. And not a single creature has survived a dish.
But Twilight just walked right past it.
Ty, don't interrupt my song! It takes a special kind of perfection just to match what I have been without ever having tried. And that's why Silva wants me in the Royal Guard.
But aren't you still in training?
Hey, that doesn't mean I lied! So if you think that we can be pals, then you better be prepared for immense amounts of fun! Unless you're pony, then I'm afraid you'll be captured.
But you kinda made friends with one.
Ty!
What?
Stop playing my mixtape with incidental lyrics!
I thought they sounded pretty good.
Well, I think they sound not like Kamen, which is the worst kind of sound to be.
Oh, well, sorry then.
It's okay, Ty. I already forgive you. Come on, let's go get some nice cream.
Huh. The PC's actually on fire right now. I think that's the first time he successfully cooked something.
You're officially unforgiven, Ty!
Welcome to the Skull Crowd. I know it's a little chilled to the bone, but you'll get used to it.
Aren't the puns supposed to be Sans' shtick?
Yes, well, I'm not really Papyrus. I'm more like Lewis from the animated Ghost music video. Crossovers are awesome.
Are you kidding? Crossovers hardly ever work. They have a track record worse than, well, your track and field record.
Low blow. But it really all depends on the crossover, really. There have been quite a few successful crossovers done right. In fact, didn't you do a couple of videos talking about a certain game franchise that crossed over with MLP?
Well, I didn't say that all crossovers were bad, and Fallout Equestria is proof in the pudding that, when thought out correctly, crossovers can be absolutely amazing. But that still doesn't hide the fact that there are some extremely lousy crossovers out there.
Quite so, and not everyone will like crossovers. I personally like crossovers in general, not just with MLP, since it's interesting to see how different worlds or mindsets can clash with each other. Take, for example, video game crossovers. Some of the best fighting games out there nowadays are crossover games. Super Smash Bros., Marvel vs. Capcom, Street Fighter vs. Tekken, and various others. And since there are tournaments based around these fun games, I think it's safe to say that people enjoy them as well. But when it comes to crossovers in MLP, there does seem to be a bit of a stigma. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think most of the negative vibes come from the idea that, typically when crossovers happen, universes collide. And this isn't specific to MLP, but any fandom in general. There will be those that don't enjoy the idea of crossovers because it often merges two or more distinct and unique universes into one, and that sudden connection can be rather jarring. As you mentioned, games like Super Smash Bros. And Marvel vs. Capcom are great examples of fun and enjoyable games that are crossovers. However, the reason why it works well in those games is because they're placed in a universe that allows them to all coexist and, bash each other's skulls in.
Not to mention that a lot of the time when crossovers do occur within the MLP universe, the characters from the other franchise or universe will often get ponified. And let's be honest, not everyone wants to see a pony version of Kratos from God of War or Cloud Strife from Final Fantasy VII. Terrifying. Frankly, as someone who has written crossover fanfiction a few times and has written a lot, and I mean a lot of bad fanfiction, one of the common traps I've seen whenever people do crossovers is that creators will often just slam the two worlds together and every single character from whatever worlds are part of crossover will interact. This is already a bad thing to do since there would be a large amount of character overload. Too many characters to juggle at the same time.
And this is why Fallout Equestria works so well. Obviously, from a glance, the worlds of Fallout and MLP are vastly different. In fact, they're almost complete opposites. However, KCat the author developed massive amounts of backstory to allow these vastly different worlds to blend smoothly.
That's what a good crossover should do, blending the lore carefully. While Fallout is a grim story in a post-apocalyptic world, MLP has its bright charm, yet by taking elements from Fallout and not just chucking the whole thing into a blender, Fallout Equestria is able to take the best of both worlds and create something that can stand out.
And that right there is what can make or break a crossover, the characters, and more specifically, character interactions, so how the characters react to one another. When it comes to crossovers that take advantage of completely fresh characters, it makes it much easier to allow the two or however many universes to merge together seamlessly. However, it can become quite the challenge when trying to make interactions between existing characters from completely separate universes work, and oftentimes, this is where crossovers end up meeting their untimely demise.
One of the biggest crossovers that was rather, disastrous was the Marvel and DC crossover, which was named Marvel vs. DC, DC vs. Marvel. They changed the name a couple times. Essentially, it was a big fight between the characters of both companies. And it ended with the two companies actually merging together for a little bit and merging their comic book characters. One of the biggest issues about crossing over characters and doing characterization right is that you have to find a balance between the characters of both. You shouldn't really have a character completely outshine the other. It's tempting to have one universe be superior, but you end up belittling the other universe you're crossing over with.
It's kind of like the same thing when it comes to collaborations. One person should never outshine the other. When it does happen, you notice it right away, and quite quickly it reflects poorly on the video. Crossovers are exactly the same, and having one character outshine the other usually hinders the quality of the crossover.
Right. Good thing nothing like that has ever happened in this. Hey, I need that!
So, while yes, crossovers are an easy idea to cause a big disaster, however, if there's a good balance, crossovers can work, and they have. Video games, comics, even cartoons and anime have managed to do this properly, with results that can range from bleh to amazing.
So, crossovers. Do them if you want to, don't do them if you don't. Just have fun and try to keep it balanced when you do.
How on earth are you able to talk?
The less you know, the better.
Well, with that little bit of creepiness, I'm Tyandaga, he's MangaKamen, and remember to examine your fandom.
Oi, that's my line!